Hello, I'm Angelina Jolie, and I'm here with Yusra Abbas and Angelina from the Refugee Olympic team. One of the reasons I was so excited to speak to you is because the Refugee Olympic team is quite new, and you are representing 80 million people when you step forward into your sport. And so what does that, I'll just jump right in, when you think of that and that coming up, Abbas, what does that feel like for you?
Representing 80 million displaced people and millions of refugees, it means, to show the talent of a refugee and, in the world. And it shows that, for me, it means, that we want peace, and, and through sport, we can create that, friendships with the world and be part of the world and make the world a better place.
Angelina, this is your second time, is that right? And Yusra, your second time?
Yes.
And what did that first time feel like?
I'm really proud of what we are doing. After going through those journeys and then being tough enough to continue and dreaming and saying, okay, I'm a refugee, but here I am. I'm continuing what I'm doing, what I do best, actually. Sport was always my run out. Like, when you're so stressed and you have so much to do in life, and then you go and do what you love most, like, as example, probably for you, acting. So that is how it is for us. And just knowing that we're representing 80 million around the world right now, it's a really huge responsibility.
And Angelina, I from what I understand, so you are from Sudan?
Yeah, I'm from South Sudan.
From what I understand about your story, family seems to play a big part in your life, in what you both had to flee and what your life is today. Is that true?
Yeah, since from 2002 until this moment, I have not been able to meet with my parents, though at least I have able to meet with the rest of my siblings.
And I also understand that you're a mom. Yes. How old is your son? I believe it's a son, yes?
Yeah, he's now 3 years old.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how does he, I imagine when you're training, it must be quite challenging, very different to be within a refugee camp, within a refugee situation to train. But would you explain your training or your sport, and also how you balance being a mom while you train?
Yeah, sometimes it is kind of a hard work, or it is challenging, but there is something that I'm always looking forward. So I have to try my best to balance going to school, then training at the same time, and being a mom. But all this one they're very important for me. So I have to try my best to balance on time on how I can able to do all the activities.
That's wonderful.
Sure.
And Abbas, you are from Afghanistan, is that right?
Yeah, I'm originally from Afghanistan, but I'm living in USA. I became a swimmer in Afghanistan, and as a child, I always liked to be in the water. So, when I was a kid, I was swimming in the river a lot, and then I got involved with the pool, and then I became a swimmer. So at the age of 16, because I didn't feel safe in Afghanistan, and because a lot of things going on nowadays, and even back then, and I don't want it to rely on my family, and a lot of reasons. So my older brother, he decided to help me to get me out of Afghanistan, and he helped me, and we flew to Iran. And from after a week in staying in Iran, from Iran, he sent me by myself illegally to Turkey. So, walking one mountain to another mountain with the cars. So it took me like 3 nights and 3 days to get in Turkey finally. And then I went to the UNHCR. Then, I introduced myself there and as a refugee, then staying for 4 years in Turkey. And then I got resettled in USA. But on that 4 years, I've been, eating, sleeping, and swimming, training, and competing at the national level. And I won like 15 medals in Turkey. And then after that, I came to United States of America. I got resettled here as a refugee. And then I started from level 0 here. I had to find a swimming club and a coach. So I started competing here in 2017. Was my first international competition in the World Series. And I won that two events. And then I qualified for my first World Championship in Mexico. And in Mexico, before I go to Mexico, I joined the Refugee Paralympic team. That there's a Refugee Paralympic team that they are willing to support the refugees to send them to the World Championship or Paralympic Games. So I decided to join the team, and I joined, and I went to my first World Championship in Mexico, and in 50-meter butterfly, in final I won a silver for 80 million displaced people, and I became the first refugee who made the podium.
How did you think, when people think of Afghanistan, well, that people don't know much about Afghanistan, not as much as they should.
So yeah, Afghanistan is it's look outside, from outside it's look dangerous, but from inside, the people are really welcoming other people, and they're really nice, but just a lot of political reasons that is happening in Afghanistan, and now people came against each other, and so hopefully it will end. And for my I lived there for 16 years, and of course I've been struggling a lot, and I got bullied because I don't have arms. I was born without arms. It was a real challenge for me, but still I miss Afghanistan a lot.
Well, I do hope that it's very challenging at this moment, and with all that's happening and with the concerns, but I really do hope that it finds some stability and you're able to go back and and visit and be there. And it is a beautiful country, and as you say, very generous, warm people that I think have not been represented that way in the media, and it's really a shame. So how did you discover, thinking of Afghanistan, how did you discover you could swim?
As a kid, I was a bad kid. I didn't like to go to school because my family was keep pushing me that that if you don't go to school, if you don't go to English classes, and you're not going to be anything. As a kid, I got involved in the fighting a lot, also because the other kids in my age, they was calling me armless or crippled or whatever. They tried to make fun of me, so I was just going right away and fighting with them and try to defend myself, that I am who I am. If I don't have arms, it's okay. This is me, and you guys should accept me the way I am. But almost every day fighting. But the water, when I got involved with the water and I learned swimming, it's made me a different person. It changed me, and it's made me a very positive person, and it became a way of my life, and it saved my life. And that's how, through water, I made it here. That's what I believe.
And you're such a for other young people who are being bullied for reasons that the same situation you've been in your life, you represent so much for them to show what can be done, and that's just wonderful. I hope you really understand what a powerful message you're sending to them. So I respect that so much. Yusra, you're from Syria, correct?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know you had a very harrowing journey, and I don't want you to have to relive it, but I know you were very brave, and you may not say this yourself, but you were a hero, and you helped others through with your extraordinary ability to swim so strong. Is that right?
Thank you. Yeah, true. So I came to Germany almost 6 years ago now. I was only with my older sister. She's 3 years older than me. We both were swimmers when we were young. And I think we learned a lot from my parents being so tough. And my mom was always saying, education is very important for the woman. And my dad was always behind the sport. So this is kind of what gave us strength on this journey. So the journey was 25 days. You cross at least 6 or 7 countries illegally. And it was me, my sister, and 2 other guys. And I think, to be honest, when I talk about the story, I know that lots of people and lots of media make it out to be like, as saying the hero and all of that. Thank you for that. But then I remember, and I'm always trying to tell the story because I want them to understand that this is one of a million story, and this is not the only story. You have a really small dinghy where it's for vacation and 7 people go on it, usually for barbecue or whatever. And we were like packed on it, 20 people and 1 kid. And usually it's 10 kilometers. So it has to be almost around about 45 minutes to get to Greece from Turkey. And unfortunately, our boat engine didn't work anymore after like 15 minutes. And the more brave person was my sister, because she was the first one to jump into the water. And then I jumped from the other side, and because she didn't want me to go in the water, so I went from the other side. Yeah, and before we even entered the water, she told me, if anything happens, swim, go, don't wait for me. So it was really crazy. And after almost 3 hours and a half, we made it to shore. We threw everything, all the belongings. So I arrived, even without any shoes, I arrived with jeans, t-shirt, and a little selfie bag where I put the phone and the money. And it's like this for almost every refugee, to be honest. Yeah, and after 3 hours and a half, thank God we made it, and then continued crossing other countries. But it was like buses, walking, and it was a bit easier, but still not easy. Yeah.
Wow, that is extraordinary, and it is, and I love that you say that about how it is, you know, millions of people. That's why I've always been so drawn to working with refugees, because I learned so much, and I'm so inspired by the strength and resilience that really comes together in such a human way that most people just, because fortunately for them, they're never in those extremes, but what life has brought to you, both in the hardships, but also in what you have seen in the human spirit and what you bring. Can I ask, I know in the middle of all of this, I think of your lives and I think all that you've been challenged with, and then, you know, regular athletes find this the hardest time for them to challenge and focus and be athletes. So everything you've come from, the trauma that I'm sure you carry in your own way, from what you've seen and experienced and live with and worry about your countries still, all 3 of you, your countries are still, you know, safe, facing many things. And then there's COVID on top of it to deal with in the middle of this moment of training. How are you holding your focus? How are you holding your nerve? And how has that affected your training? Angelina or Yusra? Angelina?
You know, in 2019, when the COVID started, I and my team were really training hard because we are hoping for the Tokyo. We were really in a good shape whereby we could have even smelled a medal in the Olympic. It was kind of a tough moment for us, but you know, sometimes it is something that was kind of a thing that happened to people or all over the world. It was affecting people all over the world. So I personally, I remained so positive because I believe that it will come and then it will go. No one knew that such kind of a pandemic might happen. But then since it has happened, then we just have to accept and maybe follow the procedure that they are supposed to be done. Though the training was kind of challenging because, you know, in running, we have to train as a team. Training as an individual, it will not make sense. But mostly teamwork it's very important. So we were forced to go back to Kakuma refugee camp, whereby training, even there, it is very hard because of the weather. The weather is very hot. I believe you yourself, you know, because you have been there maybe many times, yeah. So training is very hard, though it was kind of a tough moment, but we do still have hope because we have no otherwise. No one chose it to be such kind of a moment, but we just have to remain positive and to focus ahead.
It's so impressive, and I really love you say this challenge, and you just talk about I see your strength, I can feel your strength. It's so nice to when you meet a person that has so much strength no matter what comes, you're going to find a way forward. And I'm sure you're going to give that to your son, and he's going to feel, he must feel that. It's a wonderful gift to give to your child. Yusra, how has COVID affected your training?
The toughest moment for me, to be honest, it was thinking about refugees and thinking that they didn't have the access to any of the hygiene we had access to. And this is something I struggle with all the time, even like with sport, with anything that I have right now. I always struggle with, you know, you said that once, why me? Why do I have everything but those people don't? And this is what I struggle with always. But I tried other sports, and I realized that swimming is my sport in those few weeks, because I was like, I'm bad at everything else. And I mean, for sports, any sports with ball, I'm really bad at, that I discovered. But otherwise, like, I enjoyed doing other sports. But then I realized, okay, I really love swimming, and I want to go to the Olympics again. So yeah.
Do any of you have hope to return to your country of origin, at least in part?
I love my country, though I'm in the other country, but I still love my homeland. You know, you cannot go to another country then you forget your motherland. It is always the best.
I think that the worst thing about leaving the country is that you were mostly always forced to leave it because of war or what happened, and that you also are not allowed to go back. So to be honest, I always tell my mom that I want to go back when the war is over, and she's always very worried because she's like, no, you're not going at all. And I'm like, yeah, I will go back. So I love my country, and I didn't realize how beautiful it is and how amazing it is until I left, which is sad. But I also was only 17. So now I appreciate everything that I had there, and my friends, family, and yeah, I hope one day I'll be able to go back.
And Abbas, you've already said similar, so I know you feel strongly.
Yeah, well, you know, I went to Afghanistan once in 2019 after my second World Championship. You know, I faced in my second World Championship, I faced my toughest opponent, and I got 6th place in final in the 50-meter butterfly. And then when I came back from London to USA, after a few days, I heard that my father passed away, and he died, and that was like falling down from the sky to the earth, and it was the saddest thing that that ever happened to me. So it was very important for me, and I felt like if I don't go and be on his funeral, what the people will say. And it was something that I had a lot of history with my father, and so I wouldn't forgive myself the rest of my life. So to not feel guilt, I went to Afghanistan, and after that for 11 days, and just to see my mom also. I said I'm not gonna wait until my mother dies, because when people gets old and anything can happen to them, and I said I'm not gonna wait until my mother dies, and I never see him. So what life means to me.
How long had it been since had you seen your father since you left Afghanistan?
Yeah, in 2013, my father always worried about me, that what's going to happen for my future. And at the age of 15, he wanted to get me married because he didn't see any future on me. And he said that, your wife and your kids, when you have kids, they will take care of you. And I just wanted to prove him, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to leave Afghanistan, to show my father that, my disability cannot stop me from achieving my goals. And through swimming, I proved to my father, and every time I win any international events, when the last time I talked with my father, he said that you put my name in the top of the world. That then he realized that I'm more than what a person, a boy without arms. And for 9 years that I've been refugee, one country to another country, one city to another, one camp to another camp. So I always I was training and working so hard every day to become a better person, and to show my father that what I'm capable of, and not just to my father but my mother and to everyone in my family and to Afghan people, that, that when they see a guy with this, having disability, they just see them as a nothing, and that's not right. And I believe that as long as our heart and our mind is open and it's working, we can be anything, and we can be part of the society. We can be part of the world, and we still can achieve success through your achievements. You can, motivate and inspire millions of, people, and encourage them to something positive. That's, that's a big thing. It's not just about you, it's about millions of people.
You've said so much, so I just wanted to give you a moment if there's anything you felt maybe isn't understood by people in the world.
I think I have something to say. I think lots of people in the world have the wrong ideas about refugees and about why they came to their lands, especially like people don't know, people around me don't understand, how can I be successful? She's a refugee, why? Why is she smiling? Why is she happy? How is it that, they're reaching, they're all of that? And there's something I always say. They always say that we're stealing their jobs, and I don't know, we're here for the money and all of that. And I always say, if you're good at your job, no one steals it from you. That's one. And the second thing is that we really come here because we imagine our families. I imagine my kids. I imagine the family I want to build. And if I have to worry about when my kids goes out, if I don't know if they're going to come back alive or dead, I thought of my mom, thinking of that every time I went out. And she would, when we left the country, she cried her eyes out, but she still said, it's okay to go. And I would risk that my kids will lose their life, but at least it will be a once in a lifetime. And after they get to Germany, they're safe. Better than her worrying every time I'm getting out. So that's why I always say we really, really do those crazy, dangerous journeys because we want a better chance in life. And after that, the Refugee Olympic team happened. As example, I think Abbas or Angelina or me, or lots of refugees around the world, I think sport was the only way out from this traumatizing journey, or from thinking about our home or thinking about war and all of that. So we are thankful for the sport. We are thankful for people like you who want to always support us and talk about us, and also obviously for UNHCR for giving us the platform also to talk about our stories. So thank you.
We know we've been through a lot, and especially myself, born without arms and learning everything with my feet. And I've been struggling a lot and then become refugee. I've been through a lot, but I never, retreat. And I always try to do wherever I've been as a refugee. I try to do, good stuff and good things and do positive things. And my message for other refugees are that, try to have, set goals and do positive things so you can be part of that society. And so you'll not get, that why you came here or why you became, why you're trying to, build life. We've been forced, and wherever we are, we should not be comfortable, and we should always try to make that society a better place and make the world a better place.
My hope to the rest of the refugees that they should always remain positive, like the way Abbas has mentioned. They should always believe in themselves. If they have any talent or they can do anything, they should just come out. No matter the situation they are going through, they should always come out and believe themselves and say that, yes, they can't do it. No one can able to tell them you can't do it, because what will make you not to do it? If there is a chance, let them come out and do it and believe that a refugee, being a refugee does not tell you you cannot have a dream, you cannot have a goal. No, you can do everything like anybody who is normal. We just only need to remain positive in our life and grab any chance, any possibilities. Like right now, I'm so honored and I'm very happy to make a to be a refugee, I mean to make a team for the refugee for the second time, because competing in Tokyo does not mean that I will compete for myself. I represent so many people, my family, millions of refugees all over the world, and I just pass the message of hope to them that if I compete there, does not I compete for myself. I compete for everyone, for anybody who is going such kind of a hard life like me. And I'm so honored to be given that chance, because I do it for everyone, for my family and the rest of the refugees all over the world.
I want to leave it there. I think what all of you have said is so important. So I will be thinking of you. I am here. I am a fan and a supporter, and I am really honored to speak with all of you. You're really quite extraordinary, and you're an inspiration to everyone to learn about how to take on life and challenges and step forward and show what you can do and stay positive, and that is a message we all need. So thank you so much. It's my honor, my pleasure.
Thank
Wow.
you.